We've talked about the housing complex for the last few weeks a number of times, saying that 415 area was really the line in the sand, and you can see why. I've pulled up a weekly chart going back really to the beginning of '05. So we're looking at basically a 3.25 year chart, and you can see that housing did in fact peak at the July of '05 on the public housing stocks, and has continued really to push down to new lows. Really, you're not out of the woods until you get above this level, breaking this low somewhere probably above 600. Until you can get above 600, you really can't be bullish housing. So that leaves a long way from where we are. But let me just point out, this is a weekly chart. Each of the bars is a week. Your 10-day moving average is still below the 40-day moving average on the weekly chart. It crossed it once, you can see here in '07, and then crossed it again. Basically got you out at the same price it got you in. So if you use these 1040 indicators on any time frame, I find them to be very, very good general stay on which side of the market indicators. They're not timing indicators by any means, but they tell you to be long if it's going up, and to be short if it's trending down. So right now we are still, you see the blue line below the purple, it's still telling you to sell rallies. So until that changes, you really have to, on a longer term perspective, and then in addition to your resistance up here to about 600. But again, we could rally very easily up to the 600, and you can see last time these different levels, we have never taken them back. So until we are able to get above really this level and this level, which is a long way from here, 600 and about 750, you've got to be very bearish on housing. Now, if you want to try to catch bottoms, you got to put your stop in below the old bottom, which is probably around I think it was about 240 or so that we hit on the bottom. So you can play that game, but it's generally a fool's game until the trends change. So anyways, we're at 241 was the low. We're sitting currently at 381. After the Fed notes came out, there was really nothing to say positive about housing in the numbers that were released today in the new housing sales. The inventories are just too high. It's going to take years for the stuff to work off. Unlike stocks can bottom maybe a little bit quicker because of the liquidity of most stocks and the fluidity, as I like to call it, in stocks. Whereas housing, you need to apply for a mortgage, you need to get approval, and the sales process is much longer for housing versus stocks. So you really can't compare the asset classes together. Yes, they're similar. Over time, they do react similar, but housing, again, to me, is not an investment. It's a utility. It's where you live. And unless you can buy a house that pays rent more than your mortgage is owed, it's not really an investment. And unfortunately, for the last 5-6 years, people didn't understand that. And that excess is really where that extra inventory is coming from, and that's going to have to come out in the national marketplace and also in the Northwest where we live. And it's going to take a number of years as we are behind the curve of the rest of the nation. So keep that in mind. Again, I just wanted to point that out. This 415 level is a key resistance level. We continue to bump up against it. We've done it really now about 5 times over the last 7 or 8 weeks. And you can see that's where the real battle is, and that's because that's where we broke down in July of '07. And so until we get that first level above that 415 on a closing weekly chart, again, and you see this blue line cross above the 10-minute or the 10 period, close above the 40 period, it's really nothing but sell the rallies until that changes. I know it's difficult, and we all want to predict the bottom, but again, I think we're a ways from a real bottom. A trading bottom, possibly. A real bottom is you're going to have to take me out somewhere up in this level around 600 before you can really start to say, hey, the bottom's in housing. So that's it. Again, we can't go to zero on this, but we did go to 240. That's your recent bottom. 240 is 140 points from where we are. So we've already rallied 60%. A nice tradable move already. We'll see how high they take them, but keep this in mind if you're trying to catch bottoms. Housing is a lot different than stocks.